In this live martial arts class, we're talking about learning how to fight with a walking cane or self-defense cane. In this case, I'm starting with this super lightweight, extremely durable rattan. It's made out of rattan. Self-defense cane. It's a fighting cane. You can also use this as an everyday walking cane. But I'm going to warm up the body with this simple spinning motion. I hold it in my hand with the long side coming out of the thumb. My hand is lightly closed. And I just twist it around. I'm just twisting here. Then we're going to bring it over and back in front of the body from side to side, stomach up and in, abs tight. This is how you warm up with your cane. Get your hands strong. Morning. Bring it back out. You also want to get your core muscles strong. This is going to raise your heart rate a little bit. This is going to help lean you out faster, get you fighting fit. You can do this standing or sitting in a chair, any kind of chair. You do this sitting on a bench. So you go back here on the edge of the bed, on your couch, on your sofa, but move. You move your body and you'll get stronger faster. This builds capacity. You need capacity in your muscles, in your endurance, flexibility, strength. All of that is improving. So it's just in my palm. The hand is closed, but not squeezing. Closed so that it can move. The long side comes on my thumb, and I'm turning. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just back and forth, over and over again, stomach up and in. And I'm going over and back, side to side. All this cross-body stuff is also good for your brain elasticity, your ability to be flexible in your thinking. Good morning. Just going back and forth, bring it back out. It's morning here. I don't know if it's morning where you are, but it's morning here. It's a beautiful morning. Over and back, really sunny out there. You're going to do that for about 30 seconds, just going back and forth between this and this. Now, I want you to learn how to build power and strength in all of your strikes. Everything that you do comes up off of the floor. And if you're able to, you're going to put it between your legs as you stand, just in front of your body, and you're going to squat kind of up and down. Back up, see if you can see a little bit more. I want to lower the camera a little bit, so just about like that. Good. Down and up. You're assisting yourself in this squatting motion. Now right here I'm going to switch because I want to show you some of the other canes too, some of your other options for training and for what we call an everyday carry cane. And this one is made out of oak. The first one's rattan, it's lightweight, but listen to this. When you go through and strike, I don't know what the scientific number is, but I feel like this is 2, 3, 4 times harder when I hit. It's not as fast. The other one's lighter, so it's going to move a little bit faster, but this has so much mass behind it. It's dense. It's a very dense hardwood. This is oak. And this training cane, this is also a training cane, and you want a training cane because you're going to beat it up in your training, but it's also a cane you can carry every day. This looks good enough. It looks just like a simple cane, right? Which is what it is, but it's also a self-defense tool from this position into your fighting or protected position very quickly. You can start here, bring it up. You can strike straight in, come across the body. You can rake this into that shoulder, pull them into you. You can go across the face for self-defense. But it's a very effective training cane that you could also carry every day. It's a little bit heavier than the rattan, and it's a lot more durable. It doesn't flex very much, but it will shatter bones for self-defense. You're going to be able to shatter and stop an assailant, somebody who's hurting you or trying to attack you. Now, I'm going back to this because I also want you to do as much of this as you can and start where you are. If you can't do a lot or you can't do any, then don't do it. But if you can start to move up and down, putting some pressure on the legs, some stress on those muscles, on those joints, getting them healthier and stronger. Remember, all of your punches, all of your kicks, all of your cane strikes come through the legs, through the floor. And so when you have a solid foundation by doing these basic exercises, and if you want, you can do it without the cane, but this is a starting point for a lot of us, especially as you get older or if you're getting mobile again, you're starting to move around a little bit more, you haven't been as active in the past either because of an injury, or maybe you you're not an active person. But now you want to be able to really defend yourself. Now I want to show you the second kind of spinning. We started here, went over and back. Here's the second reason I love this big oak cane, and that's because it weighs more And now my heart rate's going higher than it did with the lighter cane. It makes sense, right? A little bit more weight, more resistance, stronger. I'm getting stronger. My spins are getting faster. And when I get into these strikes, they're gonna hit so much harder. You're gonna hit stronger, faster, harder with a heavier cane in training. Now the first kind of spinning is this. The second time you're gonna come up here a little bit off of the crook or the hook. And you're gonna go over and back in that sideways figure eight or infinity spin. Just slicing through. And you can see what's happening in my wrist. I'm getting a broad range of motion. These are all small muscle groups, the tendons. Everything in here is delicate. You don't want to be too heavy on this, but you want to be a little bit heavier once you've warmed up. And then you start to go faster. And see, my hand is staying closed the whole time. I'm not doing this. This is a good way to lose your cane. You hit something that falls out of your hand. When your hand's closed, you're doing this motion. Just think of carving that sideways figure eight with your thumb, leading it like that. And you're gonna do it in front of your body. And if you wanna grow more strength in your shoulders, put it out to the side and do it to the front and the back here. When you start to do it in those two ranges of motion, those two planes, this is the plane that crosses through your body. This is the plane that goes to the front and the back of the body. You're now going to get stronger here in the back of the shoulder and the side of the shoulder. And then when you need to fight here and then strike here, you're not going to pull or pop anything. You know what I'm talking about if you've ever injured yourself doing a move that your body's not used to. By going through these different ranges of motion in all these planes, you're going to start to strengthen yourself in all those areas. Now the other hand, same thing, that forward figure eight, forward endless spin. We call it endless because it makes that infinity sign, endless infinity, about the same thing, right? 30 seconds here. If you want to add that variation, if you haven't done this yet, try this today. 30 seconds to the side and the back of the body. And now I want to talk about basic strikes because I want you to be able to defend yourself with this from the first day. We're going to talk about two ways that you're going to put your weight on it and use it as a walking cane. One is with the hook facing behind you. Now this is the traditional way that a lot of people use their cane. The other, I was told by the guy who runs the the guy who makes these, the Cane Masters guy. He owns the Cane Masters store, Master Keith Melton. He's also writes spy novels. So if you look him up and you see, is it the spy guy? Is it the same as the Cane Master? Yes, it's the same guy. He started a spy museum in Washington. Super interesting guy. Anyway, he says, if you hold it here, not only does it put you into a better, more natural ergonomic position, but it also shows him and people who are familiar with the cane that you know what you're doing, that you're a practiced and experienced cane person. I'm sure that makes sense to you what he said, right? Basically, it looks like you know what you're doing. If you carry it this way, you look like this. Maybe you're a newbie. I don't know. I think that's what he meant. But so think about this, right? This part here, two things that you can do in this position. There are many things. Two things I want you to do in this position. One is just bring this up into a strike. And I accomplish it just by turning this and pulling this a little bit. So I pull and I bring that up. Now this is not the strongest hand position in my opinion, and maybe it's just because I haven't done it enough. But it's strong enough. If you put that in someone's groin for self-defense, that's strong enough to put them on the ground to end a fight, right? From here, comes up, and then the second strike is across the body, into the face, into the arm. Doesn't matter, right? You just shatter something. Self-defense is not about techniques, it's about principles. The most important principle is don't get hit, but the second most important principle, get in that better position, pay attention to what's happening, and then just strike some targets. Look for targets. Could be his head, could be his ribs, maybe he's got a hand, some knife in the hand, maybe it's just take out his leg. But that's what that basic first strike is. And I want you to know there's two from the very start. The first one is here, the second one is just across the body. 1, 2. Now, you could also bring this up under their chin, and that's also going to be a very powerful, devastating, yes, you're right. Good point. But you're right. I mean, 100 times, right? Those of us who've had that experience, you know how devastating it can be. Right here, it's like shatter their teeth in their mouth for self-defense. From here, it's very quick. You don't have time to react. This guy's closing the distance, a bunch of thugs, punks, whatever. You just straight up across the body. So I want you to practice whether you have something to hit or not. You don't need something to hit. Just practice up, back, down, and across the body. I always come back to the ground. I want you to always come back to the ground because all your power comes from pushing off of the ground. You can do this and this, but there's not as much power as going back again. And you're going to get just as fast. 1, all the way back, and 2. Do that on both sides. Bring it up and across. Bring it up and across. Now the next thing that I want you to see from this position, before we change positions, is that you pop it up here, and I want to show you another strike, and that's just straight in, right? Straight in, think of center line. This is kind of like Jeet Kune Do, Wing Chun, a little bit Wing Chun stuff. But this basic idea that, the Wing Chun punch, it's kind of hard to do with the cane in my hand, but you get the idea. From here, I get this into this position, back up, don't touch me, you're too close. And then I just drive it into his face, into the midsection, into the solar plexus, into the groin, down if I need to go down. But it's just as simple as that. So from here, you practice getting this position, hands up and open. When the cameras are rolling, and that means there's a bunch of punk thugs, and they're surrounding you, and one of them's got a skateboard, and they're yelling and screaming at you, and one spits in your glass of wine, or I don't know what it is. You can picture it, right? And you stand up and you say, look guys, back up. We're just trying to have a nice night. And then you realize you need to take a more protective position. You're still not threatening in this position. This is just you saying, back up. I will defend myself. It's my right. I don't have to say what you tell me to say. It's my right to defend myself and to have my own opinion about things. And we don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with me or like me, but you can't hurt me. You can't call me names. You can't scream in my face. You can't touch my food. You can't threaten me with your skateboard or whatever it is. And then from this position, you're just straight in, right? Also, you can slide that down a little bit, and there's that second strike, the one up, that angular strike that comes across, or diagonal strike through the body. So you practice like this. From here, getting this non-threatening but protective positions. You have every right to protect yourself. Cameras are rolling, everybody sees you. And then when they look back and they see it, they say, yeah, that guy was trying to defend himself, or she was trying to defend herself. They were not the aggressors. They have the right to defend themselves. Those punks, thugs, or whatever, it was their fault. Now you're the hero, right? And everybody is justified because you started like this. You weren't like this, come on, man. You come in, I'm going to get you. You weren't like swinging, going in their face. You start in this position. But from here, it's just straight in. See, I'm turning the shoulders, turning the hips. I go straight in, just driving. So you're going to practice here, come back, and then see how I drop my hand a little bit, and then up across the body. Now you can bring it across the body with your hand on the crook again, or I like to hit here and just bring it back a little bit. Just bring it back a little bit, and that way I have more leverage and I have a better control on that strike. From here, you can also bring it back in the other way and rake that hook for self-defense right across their body. So this is the second thing I want you to practice for self-defense. Get in a better position, straight in, back, striking through. Start over, bring it up, use your word. It's command. It's not a request, by the way. You're not saying, please stop. It hurts me when you slam me in the head with your big chunk of concrete or frozen water bottle. You're saying, back up. I have every right to defend myself. And then that's that first strike, back, and then up and through at that angle, that diagonal strike. Do that in both hands, better position, straight in, back, and then pair it with that verbal command. And again, command, not request, not pleading, not begging, but saying, back up. I have every right to defend myself. I will defend myself. It's my human right. Now, the second thing is changing the position. So this is where we were from the start, with that facing away from me. Now facing back toward you. From this position, coming here. And the reason that I like to do this is that gives me the length of this cane between me and the threat. Now, he's got a knife. That gives me this much distance. His blade, unless it's Crocodile Dundee for you old people like me, his blade might be like this if it's Crocodile Dundee, but probably it's gonna be like this, right? A smaller blade. From here, and maybe he's one of those guys who's got the, one of those punks running around, they're getting the expandable batons. He snaps that out, and that's not gonna be very long either. This is still gonna be longer. So from here, better position, back up, I will defend myself, and then just hard, simple strikes, basic strikes. Don't get all fancy in self-defense. Learn how to defend yourself with big motions first, and then you can learn how to do all the joint locks and pressure points and takedowns and the other cool things that go along, the more esoteric or aesthetic things, things that look pretty or that are interesting. You can do those with the hook and with the joint locks, the pressure points, the takedowns that you can also do here. I'll teach you that. But I want you first, from the very first time you pick up your cane and think of it as a self-defense tool to be able to defend yourself in real practical ways. Now let me show you the other cane, because these strikes that I like to do from this position, done with this cane, my everyday carry cane. And everyday carry means it's got a little bit nicer finish. It's got those fancy eyeballs there, but look at that. It's not illegal. It doesn't penetrate, but man, that can cause some real, for self-defense, some real pain, some real damage when you defend yourself. It has this is that 550 cord for those of you military geeks like me that still carry around 550 cord. Remember the wristbands, and it just keeps it from slipping out of your hand. Look how sweaty I am. You know, I'm down here in Florida, especially you're in these hot climates, or you just don't want to be in a position where you're going to lose your cane out of your grip. You get this one like that. Make sure it's nice and tight, just twist it. This keeps you from losing it, right? From here, now you can fight with a little bit more confidence, but this is the best part of this whole cane. It's the teardrop right there. I don't know if you can see that. It's just a dull edge. It looks like a katana, like a sword. Or in my mind, it looks like a K-bar, like the Marine Corps fighting K-bar. But look at that, that's the teardrop. That means it's flat on the back, and then you have this blade edge. And the reason for the blade edge is it takes all the force that you generate from all your strikes. And we're gonna go over those strikes so that you can practice. But all those strikes, all that force goes into that blade edge. And so now it's concentrated along that edge. When you strike with this, the training cane, that's a hard strike. But you now put that in the mix. I keep popping my tips off. See, there it is. Now you can see the teardrop. But you put that in the mix, you're gonna shatter bones, you're gonna compress flesh, you're gonna light somebody up for self-defense faster and harder with even less power because of this edge right here. So you need one of these everyday. You don't need one. If you wanna get one, let me know. Send me an email. It's pasquinelli@hotmail.com, or go to the website, pasquinelli.com, and you can find a way. And I'll show you how to get one of these or one of these training. If you wanna look at the link below, I have the link to the basic rattan training cane. All right, let's go into strikes. Let's talk about that and how you practice. That's where I wanna finish today. Start in this position, get into your better position. The cane goes between you and the threat, and the first strike is a diagonal strike across the body, and the second strike comes the other way. Think of an X, right? In case you couldn't visualize it, there's your X. You go down, down, and then bring it up and up. And see how I'm turning my hand up? Up. So down, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Do a horizontal strike, clear across the body. Turn your hand over and bring it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then finally, vertical strike, straight down. And I want you to add that, the rifle strike, bayonet strike. So from here, this is my right foot forward, my weight's on my cane. Here comes the threat. Back up, I'll defend myself. My cane goes between me and the threat, and then I strike, taking out targets. Eyesight for self-defense. Their ability to breathe temporarily through the nose, permanently through the throat. Their ability to hear, smashing those ears. Their ability to chase me, going through the legs. Their ability to stab me with that knife, smashing that arm. That's what you're doing for self-defense. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we do all those in that combination every time, no way, but this is a good way to practice. Better position, this is my left hand now, left foot, Always practice both sides if you can. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Support it. You can also bring this, think of a rifle butt, that big old knuckle right through the throat. Think of shoving like this. Smash them off this way. Smash to the side, smash to the side. The guy grabs me here. I twist my cane up, grabs my wrist, bam, smash. This guy over here, that guy in front. However you have to defend yourself. But practice first 7 strikes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with that, and then you can add that so that you're coming in both sides. That gives you 9 things. Get the other side, 1. 9 techniques. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then review. Here's 10, 11, and then we were 12 and 13. It's a little bit different than that last one. That's 13 strikes. From your first day picking up your cane, learning how to defend yourself, you have, let's review it one more time. From the very beginning, we have 1, remember this one? That's right there, between the legs. And then up, across the face. And then that's 2. I'm here, straight in, 3, 4. And then if you want an extra one, think of raking that, coming back across, or jabbing to the face, breaking the ribs, like a boxer doing a hook punch. So we're at 4, and then we're in this position. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and just for fun, they get too close to you, you shove that right through their throat, right through their eyes, right through their face, like you're doing a fast push-up, and knock them back. It's a lot of techniques that you now know from the very start, first time you pick up your self-defense cane. So it can be any kind of walking cane, right? Using this hook. One of the best parts about it is it's a self-defense tool that you're allowed, because it's also a medical device. Take this anywhere. The HIPAA laws in the United States says they can't ask you, they can't question you whether you need this or not. They're not even allowed to think about it, right? And the Americans with Disabilities Act, that's 2 different laws that protect you to use this self-defense tool because it's also a medical device. Americans with Disabilities Act in the United States says you can carry this everywhere you go. Train, plane, bus, through TSA, into the federal building, to the, your kid's school, the library, pizza store, whatever. You're allowed to carry this, and they're not allowed to ask you whether you use it, as long as it looks like that, right? And see that little bevel there? That's on the training cane. That's not sharp enough to penetrate the skin. So that's also still legal, but you can stick that in someone's shoulder, rake them right here, right? You rake them forward for self-defense, across the body. We talked about all that. So if you have a question or comment, check the links below, but then reach out to me, please. This is a community. I learn from you as much as you learn from me. Go to PasqualeMinelli.com and send me a message in the bottom there. Thank you so much. I know it's kind of fast, kind of pushy, but I wanted you to see it. T, it's good to meet you. It's good to see you again.